Hi, welcome to the blindfold tutorial, blindfold example solve using M2 and Old Pochmann. I came to realize I really don't have time at all to go in really in depth with this, so I'm just going to run you through the memorization really quick, just like I would memorize. And then you can like replay the video or look at your own cube to see why that goes there and that does that, whatever. This is what the cube should look like when you use the scramble that I'm providing in the description. I am using a white cube because all my black cubes somehow disappeared. So, tough luck for me. Let's get going on the memorization. When I start memorization, you have to always make sure that red's on front, white's on top. Okay, that's step one. Check. Now, I start by memorizing edges and corners, and then I solve the reverse. So I memorize edges, corners, and then I solve corners, edges. So, to start the memorization, I'm just going to run you through it really quick. Look at the buffer, that's step one, and see where this goes. Orange of orange blue goes back here, and that's the letter K. So we have K. This goes to here, which is F. This goes to here, and that's the buffer. Now if you remember, whenever you have the buffer getting solved in your memorization, you don't memorize it. You just pick any other edge that you haven't solved and switch it with it. So, since we had K, F, and then the buffer gets solved, I'm just going to pick any random edge I haven't solved yet, which, let's just say this one, which is letter A. So K, F, switch the buffer with A, and I have to remember that I chose A, because when I get back to it, then I know I'm done. So K, F, A, this goes here, which is C. This green of green-white goes here, between green-white, which is H. This goes here, which is S. This green of green-orange goes here, which is I. This goes down here, which is X, and this white-orange goes back up here, which is A. Now, since we got back to A, and that was the edge we chose to switch with the buffer, because we had K, F, buffer solved, switch with A, and now we got back to A again, we know that cycle is solved. However, there's still edges we haven't solved. If we notice in the memorization, we haven't touched these edges, or this one back here, which is M, N, O, P, Q, R. So since we finished our cycle, I'm just going to pick any side of these edges to switch it with. So I'll just pick this one. So the beginning of our next cycle is N. This goes here, which is O. This orange of orange yellow goes back here, which is Q. And then this red of red blue goes back to N. Now that we've got back to N and we started our cycle with N, we know the second cycle is solved, and now all the edges are solved. So here's our memorization again in the bottom. Now, I would memorize that as, hold on, I wrote it down. If I were solving that, I would memorize it as KFAC, H6, ANOC, N. Okay? But to make it easier for you to memorize, I suggest breaking every letter down into a word. So I came up with an example sentence that you would get from turning them all into a word. Kyle flirts and cares. He sometimes is a isn't actually part of your memorization, it just helps the sentence make sense. He sometimes is a xylophone. And nice oats, Quaker, nice. If you know Quaker oatmeal, right? So, and nice oats, Quaker, nice. Okay, so that's our edge memorization. Kyle flirts and cares. He sometimes is a xylophone. And nice oats, Quaker, nice. Okay, now let's move on to corner memorization. Okay, so now we have our edge memorization, so we're going to move on to corners. We start by looking up here and seeing where this corner has to go. It's the blue side of the white, blue, orange, which is right here. White, blue, orange at the back here. So since it's the blue side, it's right here. So our first corner memorization is B for blue, and we tap that position. So B. And then the blue side of this corner, it's not here, this is the blue face, so we're dealing with this sticker. This goes here, which is R. So B, R, B, R, B, R. And then this is our buffer piece, the white, green, orange. So we don't memorize that, we just pick any other corner we haven't solved. Since we've solved these two, we can pick this, or this. I'll just pick this, this one. So we have B, R, and then I'll pick R, or any side of this one, doesn't matter, I'm just going to pick R. So B, R, R, and then the red side of here is yellow, and this corner belongs down here, which is, since it's yellow, it would be Y. So B, R, R, Y. B, R, R, Y. the yellow side of this corner is red, which belongs back up here. So that's R. B, R, R, Y, R. Now, when we got to the buffer, this BR, we switched it with this one. And since we did R, R, Y, we got back to this one, we know that cycle is solved. So now I'm going to look at the rest of the corners to see which ones I haven't solved. I see this one's already actually solved perfectly. Don't have to worry about that. This one we haven't done. That's actually solved. It's just unoriented. And the last one here is also solved but unoriented. Therefore, our whole memorization for corners is just BR, and then the buffer solved, so we switch with this, R, Y, and then back to R again. That's our only one cycle, and then we have to orient these two. Now I see this corner, the yellow needs to go here, the green needs to go here, and the red needs to go here. So I have to twist this that way. And that's a clockwise twist of a corner, right? So I memorize C, this corner has to be rotated clockwise, and then this one also has to be rotated clockwise, because yellow there, blue there, orange here. So it's clockwise, right? So we have B, R, R, Y, R, C, C. Okay, that's our corner memorization. Now, if you count the corners, we have B, R, R, Y, R. That's 5. And when I said whenever you have an odd number of corners, you have parity. So I'm just going to tell myself that I have parity, and both of these need to be oriented clockwise. That's all you have to memorize for corners. Now let's move on to the solving portion. Okay, so we start by solving the corners. Pretend you're blindfolded. The first corner in our memorization was B of this position. So we want to bring the blue side of this corner, which is, since blue's on the right, it's here, into our slot to solve it with the setup R2. That would bring this position down here. Now we can do the Y prime to switch it, and then undo the setup. You can see the corner solved. That was B. The next one was R. So we have to get the red side of this corner, which is right here, to here. We'll set up F, D. That's the setup. Switch it. Undo setup. D prime, F prime. Now the next one was R of this position. So bring this to here, F prime, and then slide it over, D. Undo setup, D prime, F. And then next one was B, R, Y of this corner. So to get the yellow side of this corner, which is here, to here, set up D, F prime, switch, F, D prime, and then it was back to here, R again, so I'm going to switch that, set up, undo setup, and now, that was our only cycle, B, R, R, Y, R. Now I remember these have to be rotated clockwise. So I'm going to, if you remember to rotate corners, you bring them to here, and then use one of the two algorithms. So I'll start by solving this one, bring this up to here with the setup F, and this had to be rotated clockwise, if you remember clockwise. So clockwise algorithm is R, U, R prime, U prime, again, U, R, U prime, and then undo setup, and it rotated it. Now to solve this one, we want to bring this to here, set up D prime, F2, and rotate it clockwise as well. Undo setup, F2, D. So now all of our corners are solved. However, since we had parity, I have to do the R perm. U, R perm. And that's the corners. Now edge solving. Okay, to recap our edge memo, it was Kyle flirts and cares, he sometimes is a xylophone, and nice oats Quaker nice. KFACHSIXANOQN. To start off with the letter K, we want to bring K into our buffer position. So the setup for K back here is U, R prime, U. Switch, undo setup. Next one was the letter F. But since yellow's on top, the F position turns into Q, so we have to use the Q algorithm. You can see F is solved. Next one was A, which is just M2. Next one was C. Setup to this to here is R prime, U, R, U prime. Undo that. And then next one was H, to get this to here. That's the setup. Undo that. Next one is S, down here, to get this to our buffer is that setup. Undo that. Next one is I, so we want to get this to here. It's not just that, you have to put this down first, bring the buffer down, switch it back up, M2, undo the setup. Next one is X. It's not A, it's just xylophone, so get this up here, U prime L2 U, undo that. Then A again, and nice oats, right? Then N, get this to here, it's set up U R U prime, M2, undo that. And then we have O. Then we have Q again. This actually, since the yellow's on top, it's Q. Q switches with F. So, and then we had N again. Now, since we had parity, we have to do that one algorithm at the end to fix parity. U prime F2 U, M2 U prime F2 U. Then we have the R prime again. As you can see, I really ran out of time, but that's the blindfold solve. Try and watch the video 20 times until you get it.